In this video, I'm going to be sharing how to become an integrated leader by embracing your inner polarity. Hippies embracing the workaholic and workaholics embracing their inner hippies. The funny thing is that most workaholics reject everything that hippie stands for, and most hippies reject the part of themselves that are hardworking and workaholic modes. But both integrated is where fulfillment lies. You see, the workaholic values success, but the hippie values freedom. Both create fulfillment. And so I'm going to just address the problems that come for the workaholic by not being integrated, and the problems that come from the hippie by not being integrated as well. So the workaholic that's lacking their inner hippie is a poor decision maker. They don't have that perceptive awareness that comes with groundedness and foresight, proactivity. They're unsustainable because they kind of put on the blinders and just block it out. They don't have that perceptive awareness, and also don't value health usually. They're insecure because they're both, and this is both, they're both insecure because they reject parts of themselves, which we can see obviously with the polarities here. And they're ignorant and erratic, and that causes worse results, and it also causes challenges and problems that are unnecessary if there would have been more groundedness. We go over to the hippie. The hippie is usually scarce, and that leads to a lack of health, which goes against their values. There's this interesting quote that says, people will go against what they value to meet what they need. So if someone's feeling unsafe and they don't have money, you're gonna have to go get a job that's not even in alignment and doing something you hate, which is actually unhealthy, or you can't afford to live in an area where will really nourish your soul or where you want to be. So that scarcity. Also, a lot of the time I see beautiful souls that are very much into spirituality that can't afford to get the mentorship they want, or pursue an education that they want to become a facilitator in a specific area that they're really passionate about. And so they're actually lacking health and ultimately lack impact, even though that's the very thing that they stand for. So there's a lot of inner conflicts happening on this part. Let's go through the different aspects and we'll discuss them. And what I want you doing as you're listening to this is going, what can I learn from what can I learn from where my stretches are? Where are my gaps? Where am I not aware of something here, and how can I change it? So first and foremost, the hippie values freedom, time, freedom, whereas the workaholic values money and success. Both are required for fulfillment. And just to give you a little bit of an understanding, because I've gone through a process of being a workaholic and then pendulum swinging to becoming a hippie, so I understand them both very, very well. Hard work feels good. It does feel good. So when I was a hippie, I lacked that. Having time and nurturing myself and having the opportunity for joy and fun and exploration and time with friends also feels good. But I lacked that when I was just pursuing success. So when you integrate them together, that's where the joy is. That's where the true fulfillment is. Next one. The hippie is scared of being a somebody, rejects the part of themselves that has a strong personality and ego, an individual presence in the world. The workaholic's actually scared of being a nobody, but both are true. Gandhi even said that everything in life is meaningless, but you have to do it because it's only you that can. That's kind of saying like, you're 1 in 7 billion. Are you that important? Well, no, and yes, because you're here. So it's kind of, the integrated leader understands that and then doesn't inflate themselves, but also doesn't deflate themselves. Has that balanced perspective. The hippie values the quantum world, the absolute isness, a state of being, oneness. And the workaholic values individuality. But the cool thing that I've really started to understand is that when you're connected to your soul, you're not just floating in space and complete oneness and nothing. You've got a flavor. You've got a way that you service. You've got a way that you interact with people. That's your soul, which is your individuality integrated into your heart, into oneness. And a lot of spirituality is rejecting the ego, which is a necessary component of accessing your soul. And on the same token, a lot of the time, the workaholic's desire to control from their intellect blocks their heart's flow and their connection to their soul. The hippie values surrender. The workaholic values discipline, but flow is the perfect junction point between discipline and surrender. Both of those components are important. And we know that when a workaholic's trying to control all the action that they're taking and they've got discipline, but they're not really feeling into where they're going to go next, they can get stuck and push up against the same problems over and over. Whereas the hippie kind of has more of a perceptivity of where they desire to go, but they need the hustle because there's inaction. However, they are willing to surrender, and that's a benefit. And so they could learn from the workaholic that's actually taking action, but they struggle with the alignment and the connection to their heart, the flow through God, the absolute universe, the connection to the soul, and allowing that feeling-based approach to guide them. You could also say the workaholic's usually more logical, the hippie is more emotional, the workaholic is often more in their head, the hippie is more in their heart, but it's the integration of both that enables this aligned action to be taking place. Taking action from an aligned place. And so ultimately the hippie, get on with it and start hustling, and ultimately the workaholic needs to start meditating to gain access to that perceptive awareness, that feeling. And when you guys work together, and same thing with me, when I bring both of these parts together, that's where I'm coming from in the place of an integrated leader. So find your gap, lean into it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.